persecution, particularly against Christians in Karnataka and Orissa. And as I understand it, the Hindu Nationalist Party, the BHP, draws support from umbrella kind of social political movements, the VHP, and then a militant youth organization, RSS. The result being that they emphasize importance of Indianness as a basis of national identity, and that leads apparently to the use of a wedge issue against using religion as a wedge issue against their opponents, with the result of some pretty brutal persecution against Christians in these provinces. Any ideas about what the United States could do to support religious freedom in India and to encourage an end to that kind of violence?
Well, I think we do have issues. You know, you've got India, the largest, most multi-religious, multi-ethnic country in the world. I think the fact that it's a working, functioning democracy is a miracle in and of itself, and it's something that is really astounding to see. We're coming up on an election, and you'll see millions of Indians voting. They have to stagger the election over several weeks, but it really is something that I think the country should be proud of, and something that I think we can admire here from the U.S. And there are certainly legislative measures in the Constitution to protect minority rights. Now, I agree on the ground, this doesn't always happen. There is interreligious tension, not only Hindu-Muslim, but Hindu-Christian. And as you pointed out, the situation in Orissa is something of concern that we should be watching. I think the best way we can support these groups is by calling attention to the issues, raising the issue, maybe traveling to the areas, seeing firsthand what's happening, and support that. So I think, it is a valid issue to raise and something that we should be discussing. But we also need to understand that, India does have the Constitution and the structures in place to protect its minorities, and takes that very seriously. Yeah. And I think the U.S. has spoken out. For instance, when we had the Gujarat riots in 2002, in which many Muslims were killed. The numbers range from 800 to 2,000. But this was something where the U.S. decided that the chief minister, Narendra Modi, who's a member of the BJP party, did not do everything that he could to stop that rioting, and so he was denied a visa here to the U.S. So I think it is important for the U.S. to continue to speak out on these issues when you have anomalies come up.
It makes a point, doesn't it, that we really don't want to spread democracy. What we want to spread is constitutional republics. Because, in a democracy, if you got more Hindus and Muslims or Christians, you can vote them out of religious services. It's all right in democracy. But the wonderful thing about a constitutional republic is it limits the power of the government and gives freedom to individuals. So I hope that they discover the importance of a constitutional republic and not a democracy. Because if a democracy and the BHP, along with the VHP, want to beat up on the Christians or the Muslims, it's really okay in a democracy, I suppose. But we really don't want democracy. We want a constitutional republic, right? We want to encourage those.
Could I inject here, because I want to support what Ms. Curtis said, but I also want to make the point that India is both a democracy and a constitutional republic. I've been to their Republic Day celebrations. They are very proud of their republic and the guarantees in their constitution for minority rights. Now, this issue goes to something that Congressman Burton also mentioned about the Human Rights Report. These are legitimate issues to be discussing with India, and we do that. We are both, I mentioned in my testimony that we are two of the world's great multi-ethnic democracies. We're also multi-religious democracies. And we need to protect those rights and to allow freedom of expression and to talk to them about that. When I got up this morning, I heard on CNN that there was a report from the Southern Poverty Law Center. This is down in Morris Dees, if I remember correctly, was the founder of that, saying hate crimes are on the rise in the United States. Hate crimes on the rise in the United States. We have these issues that we've got to deal with. The Indians have theirs that they have to deal with. Hopefully we can talk to each other about these. Neither of us are perfect societies. And the Indians know, and I've spoken to them, Gujarat and other examples, I've spoken at length with Indians about that. They see this as a stain on their country, a stain on their country, and they're doing what they can. So I hope that this is something that, not to use the cliches, but as the oldest and the largest democracies, we can work together on this and to do what we can to address these very important issues.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Inglis. And with that, I want to thank each of our very distinguished witnesses today for your expert testimony. You have